what's happening. Hello? We're live. Corbin's not here. Welcome to the town hall. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
I cannot see you.
I can hear you too. What is this image doing here? Oh, that takes it full screen. This is so fun. Let's see. What does this do? I'll remove that from stream. What is
broadcasting for some.
Oh,
I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I wish I could get rid of this picture.
Oh man, we love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Why will it not get rid of this image that Corbin has put up here? I want to. Well, guys, we got 14 viewers. That's pretty cool.
They can hear us. They can't see us.
Well, it's nice to be here, everybody. I wish that I could figure out what has happened.
This is the inaugural Concrete podcast. No video.
Got these different
Mike wants
layout
to know
things.
if you've selected your cam as the main camera, and there should be a studio dashboard thing. Maybe is there a secondary?
So
map?
helpful, dude. That's so remarkably helpful. Solo layout. I've got all the layout stuff. It's just this. Your broadcast will begin soon. Won't go away. You are live. Edit. I don't know what happened in here. Banners. Brand. Oh wait, is this an overlay? Can I? Is there video now? Nope. Is there video?
Well, there's video.
Yes! Corbin put some overlay on here. We were behind it the whole time, man. I kept clicking on stuff. Hello. Whoo! Man. Today is different. This is going to be...
We did it.
Super fun.
See you next month.
Hello, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Watch this.
Oh, we're ready to go.
We're going. Can I get rid? Yeah, I'm killing it. Yeah, so we've lost our VJ today. Corbin is getting his second shot, so that's good news. And that
is good news.
I'm getting out of here after this to go get mine. So there's going to be a bunch of cranky people later, and we're kind of playing a little fast and loose today. So do what we can here, and get into Q&A. We're going to keep the video production quality really tight. In the news, we were announced as the spring leader of something at SourceForge again. They like us there. We're getting lots of good reviews on SourceForge. That's great. Thank you for all of those reviews. Those really do help everybody that's going there. Take the extra time to go share your love for Concrete. If you haven't done that, you really should. There's a blog post we've got that has 5 different sites that you can go review us on. And a lot of those sites are still giving out pretty generous gift cards, like $25 at Amazon, $10, nice. Starbucks or whatever, like free money for just sharing the good word. So appreciate the work that you've done there, and really helps. New marketing site is coming along well. So all the new co stuff is moving. We've got some folks testing it. We've got lots of moving parts, and of course none of it moves quite as fast as we want, but it is moving at a pretty good pace, and we're really happy with where we're getting. So you can have it fast, cheap, and well done, but you can't have all three. So we're focused on well done. But new forums are behaving. We've got those built out, people playing with those. So those are, we've got kind of like a short list of things to do before that is launchable. We've got a new .org that looks really nice and kind of speaks to developers around what concrete is as an open source stack. We've got a new .com that looks super sexy and speaks towards site owners around why it's a great platform for managing a complex web presence with a team. Certification's got a fancy new look, and we've actually got the content for theme certification is coming together in real time, so that's cool. And the new hosting platform is behaving. It's all built on top of Kubernetes and containers, and it's cool and complicated, but you can deploy different instances and pull things out of Git and have them automatically deploy and do all the kind of very modern DevOps pipelines that we've been using for folks like the Army and California Secretary of State. We've kind of built this into a GUI and made it more kind of small business consumer friendly. So still some corners that we're working on there, but that's all coming together nicely as well. So cool stuff. That's the news as far as I know it since what has changed last month. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've spaced, but I think those are the big strokes. Nice. So jumping right along to what's going on in the community, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Enkele Noor. Thank you very much for being so helpful. We got a private message, an email sent to us by somebody out of the blue thanking you for being so awesome and helpful. They were, I think, appreciative in the thread as well, but felt such love for your help that they felt the need to reach out to us and be like, you're awesome. So we're passing along the word that you are, in fact, awesome, and we appreciate you.
That's great.
Yeah, thanks for helping out. It is, as we said in that vision video, people build websites because they have ideas that they want to share with other people. So fundamentally, at kind of an emotional level, this is about connecting people to one another. And it's really important that, they get stuck, that there's people to help. So it's super important when you guys are in the forums helping somebody who's hit a wall. That is deeply meaningful. And I appreciate it. Looks like we've got some other thank yous from GitHub and documentation, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing a bit of work in GitHub lately as we prepare for our version 9 release, as well as there's still a lot of activity on the 8.5x branch, since we are more than likely going to do another 8.5 release in time for just to kind of synchronize everything up as we get version 9 ready. So yeah, we've accepted code from A. Embler, that's me, Ariel Kamoiji, Biplab, Bitterdev, Gudig, Hamed Daragi, Jay Lucky, Corvin Santo, Matt 9MG, Nakazawakan, Shirok, and Zanweb.
Nice.
And then on the documentation side of things, we've got I did some posting of some docs, as well as Mr. Evan Cooper. So
like to thank ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
See the degree to which I have read these ahead of time. Nice. Sterling preparation as always.
Really killing it this time. Yeah. Also want to thank Concrete Owl, Google. It confuses me every time, and Conspiri3D for their work in the community, helping, promoting, and doing work. They won Karma prizes this week, and thank you to everybody else who is already racking up points in there. Just like I said earlier, making the experience of building a website a social one. That is important and cool. Let's see. Can I share my screen? Buckle up, kids. This might be a bumpy ride. I wanted to show off this website, but without VJ Corvin, it's a real crapshoot. If I'm going to be able to. Oh my God, I think I did it.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Booyah. So this is bottomline.com. It's a concrete site. Yeah, it's a pretty big name in payment stuff. And it's all built on concrete. And what I wanted to show you about it is really the design. There's some functionality in here that is cool. There's some filtering type stuff in their kind of media library as you would expect. But we've got a little show and tell coming up here around some new features in version 9, and this provides a little bit of context for that.
Nice. Yeah, I can see that.
Right? Yeah. If you think
Yeah.
about just the way this is designed, you'll see what we have grown to call kind of atomic design elements. So this is a header with a centered content in this paragraph. And then we've got these 4 kind of numbers with a short name after it next to a paragraph. Here's this block of 6 guys with this weird background guy. This is how web has really kind of grown over the years. You can almost think of this as a series of stripes. Oh, this one looks a little janky right here. Hey guys, pixel off guys. But I mean, just so different. I remember when we first, like the first versions of Concrete, like it was, do you want your sidebar on the left or your sidebar on the right?
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Man, times things have changed. So, you think the design process, we used to chop things out of Photoshop, and and it was, if you were good, you could do it pixel perfect. If you weren't, you just kind of like, yeah, it looks similar. Now it's, we mostly work out of Sketch, and a lot of design principles really start around the idea of kind of bottom up. So maybe you design for how it looks on mobile before you even, come on, let's have it. There we go. Maybe you're doing this before you even do the desktop layout. And so you're really kind of thinking about each one of these content elements as its own individual design thing, which we would call an atomic design element. And then they get put together in different ways. So as I navigate this site, was that the page I was just on? Holy crap, what's going on? Right, you're going to see the same header, but now we got this new thing here where we can kind of swap some content out. So this is a little complicated, but this looks similar. Here's another one. Like they're going to, over time, they're going to, see here we're reusing that same idea again. And so when you have a team of people working on a good looking site like this, you can't really expect that whatever happens in the design phase is going to stay that way for years to come, right? They're going to want to take this and kind of run with it. Hey, can we put a bunch of bullets in this side thing now? And the more flexibility we can give a content contributor around being able to kind of put blocks into different spaces, but maintain these atomic design elements that look good and stay responsive, the easier it's going to be to keep the website fresh and move quickly in the market and have just less pain in your content creation, which is going to enable you to actually have new ideas and not have this experience with your technology where you hate it, right? Like we all use some tools where it's just like, oh, it's just such a pain to get anything done there, and that's a real problem. Like you wouldn't ask your home builder to not have a good hammer and have like a dull saw and a screwdriver that's half broken and expect them to do a good job building the home. You have to invest in tools that are a pleasure to use, or you're not going to do good work. So we've been thinking a lot about this, and we've got some new stuff in version 9 that helps you kind of chop a website in a way where this is easier to do. It's more flexible for that content contributor to use over time and maintain these atomic design elements. So that's what I want to show. Show you bottomline.com, concrete site, good names for doing finance stuff and trusting concrete. And then think about these atomic design elements. And now let's see if I can queue up a video that Andy already made. Let's see if I put, let's see, I'm going to remove that. I think I might just remove both of us too.
I think that's probably what we're going to have to do,
right,
unless they want us to be.
I don't think they want us talking
commenting
over
on it.
I think you've already talked in it, so it's good.
Yeah,
all right, here we go.
Probably good.
Right, see you in a minute. You're out.
Concrete Core Team Leader. Today, hey everybody, this is Andrew Embler, CTO of Portland Labs and Concrete Core Team Leader. Today I want to show off one of the new features of the upcoming Concrete version 9, containers. In Concrete, as you're probably aware, we publish pages by putting content blocks into areas. Over the years, we've added tools to make it possible to subdivide these areas, like custom layouts and grid layouts. This is an example of a grid layout. Here you can see we've got our Twitter Bootstrap grid cutting this entire area into 3 separate columns. These tools solve the problem of taking a larger area and turning them into 2 or smaller ones, but that's pretty much all they do. For example, all you can really get out of this is the standard Bootstrap responsive behavior, where things collapse on the smallest possible viewport. That's pretty nice to keep things responsive, but if you want more control, there's no way to get it through these layouts. In a 5.7 point release, we added some layout preset functionality, but these are really just ways to take some common layouts that you use and easily access them. For example, we ship with left sidebar and right sidebar in our elemental theme, and it makes it easy to cut a container into 2 separate layouts, one with the left sidebar and one with the right sidebar, but that's pretty much what it does. There's no way to add multiple sections within a single layout. There's no way to add different rows on top of rows, that kind of thing. You're really just limited to a single row with some different areas in some different columns. It's safe to say the web has changed a lot, even in the 7 short years since 5.7 has been released. The design of pages isn't so rigid. Instead, you really want to give developers and site editors the ability to craft sections of content that can easily be repurposed across different pages. In Concrete, you can easily do this with block types, but then you end up with 1,000 different bespoke block types on your site, all with slightly different purposes, each of which has to be documented, and each of which is specifically locked just to the functionality that you build into that block type. Why can't we just have reusable block types, but for areas and sections of a page instead of just for blocks? That's exactly what we're adding with containers in version 9. This is the design for our new concretecms.com case studies section. You see this top up here? We have a 2-column layout with an image on the left and content on the right. Now check out this design. See the top? We have a similar 2-column layout, but the columns are different. The image is a bit smaller and this content is larger. We also have some flexbox behaviors here because we have this right title here vertically aligns to the middle of the image on the left. So right out of the gate, you're not going to get this behavior if you just use a layout. Finally, check out this design. This is the homepage for the new concretecms.org. Up here we have an image slider, and here we have a gallery. These are all full width blocks, so that will work just fine. But in here we have this blue container with custom styling, and then we have content at the top. We have a testimonials block. We have a horizontal rule. If you wanted to get this type of behavior, you would need to have some kind of crazy custom block, or you'd need to have an area with custom styles or some kind of area built into a homepage template, which means you would always have to have this area and support it. We could accomplish this with layouts, but then you have to know and understand how to add custom classes to area layouts. You have to mess around with custom layouts that are a single column or with the custom block types. Containers actually make this much, much easier. We break up these content chunks into sections of HTML and PHP that themselves define areas, and then we can add those sections to different areas, one right after another, just like they were block types. We can even nest containers inside each other. Here's where containers are defined. They can come with themes, be installed with themes or packages, or you can add them yourself just through the UI up here. Creating a container is as simple as giving it a name, choosing an icon, and giving it a handle. The handle, much like with page templates or block templates, references where in the theme's actual directory the template file for that container lives. Here is the masthead left image with text container that we're using. Here's the handle. That's going to map to a container template that we're going to see shortly. And here is an icon. And here we have our masthead left image text container template. If you have experience with concrete page templates or block templates, this is probably looking pretty familiar to you. But what's really great about this is you can put any kind of HTML into this. You don't need to put in certain classes or even certain tags. It's really dictated to how you've structured your theme. If you want to use a section class for this, or a section tag for this, that works really well. Here we're using Bootstrap containers, but we're also using our own custom class like container masthead image text, which we're using to add additional padding to these things. You can see we've got certain responsive classes, and we've got certain classes that add padding, but only under certain responsive conditions. And then finally, the container area class, which is automatically available if you have this use statement in your template, and the container object and the current page object C, which are also automatically available in this template. Using those things together is all you need to do to create an area within your container. It should be pretty familiar to you if you've used concrete page templates before. Here's an example of the feature list section container. It adds a title above the item list, which is great because it lets us do some special styles for titles that are added to this feature list section spot. And then it even clues the editors into special templates they should use if they're in edit mode. So you can really treat these a lot like you treat page templates. Finally, now that you've seen the templates for these containers, let's add a couple of them to the page. Here's an empty page. This is our new version 9 editing experience. You just select containers from this left-hand panel, and let's choose one of these masthead containers for our page header. Next, let's add the feature list container. This is giving us everything we need to make this page stand out without having to hack together a bunch of custom bespoke templates. I hope this video has been useful to you. We're really excited about all the new things coming to you in Concrete version 9. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.
Uh-oh, how do I?
We're back.
Okay, sweet. As long as it doesn't restart behind us. Awesome. That's containers. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, as somebody who is actively building out pages very similar to this bottom line look and feel on the new .com site, where there's kind of case studies with repeating stripes of stuff, it's night and day. Being able to just kind of drag these layouts over and have them always look good and not have to futz around with a bunch of custom templates and getting the right class names and stuff. It's very exciting stuff.
It's a subtle thing because it's like nothing about, I mean, a lot of what you saw in that video, you can kind of replicate today with layouts, but there's just something so nice about being able to bunch up the HTML semantically and give it these semantic class names and then refer to those names within your CSS so that you don't, if you've got a repeating layout that has this centered headline that's a certain font weight, you don't have to remember, because you could certainly cut the thing into columns, but then you have to remember, well, anytime I do this, I also have to apply this class to this headline and make it centered. And, it makes it so much easier to keep a uniform look and feel on a site without, there's nothing technically challenging about, what we're doing here. It's just trying to make the workflow a little bit less painful when you have to do it hundreds of times to keep a site up to date.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we've made it to the Q&A section. We're not gonna go too long today because I have to run as well, but we do have a couple of Qs that were submitted between now and the last one. If you've got any container questions, be happy to talk. Oh, there's a chat thing. Yeah, no, they're loving containers. That's good. We're loving containers too. Let's see any questions in there. So 2 questions that I do have. One comes from Zanweb in Germany. How do we feel about Bootstrap 5 and version 9 and the fact that like we're still going to be jamming on version 9 release here this summer? I mean, our strategy here is to get the new marketing stuff up ASAP and the new hosting platform, and really be able to support those multi-site licenses as quickly as possible so we can start pushing version 9 and giving add-on developers, anytime they need to make their stuff look good with it and that kind of thing. So we're trying to get there sooner rather than later. The question is, do we want to right now, version 9 is using Bootstrap 4, I believe, and Bootstrap 5 has been out and is being out, and should we be upgrading to that?
That's tricky. I think he's absolutely right that it should be on our radar, and it is on our radar. Nothing I've seen about it looks like as fundamental a shift as was from like Bootstrap 2 to 3. Bootstrap 3 to 4 wasn't as difficult either, but it did have some pretty significant changes with some of the new things that they introduced, like cards and stuff like that. It's tricky because it's not like it's Bootstrap 5 right now, like it's in a beta state, and so it's going to be tough for us to if version 9 comes out and we're saying, okay, but when we're all built off of Bootstrap 5 beta, I mean, it's believable to me that they're not going to change a ton of stuff, but that's kind of an uncomfortable place to be in. I'd much rather be shipping with a very tested, stable version of Bootstrap behind the scenes. I mean, it's also, and an additional wrinkle here is it's not just behind the scenes. In the past, we've kind of used Bootstrap as the way to power our own dashboard and other sort of administrative interfaces, but it's kind of become the de facto theme underpinnings for all of our themes, at least, just because since we've built our block templates to support it, we kind of know that the blocks are going to look decent if they all adhere to Bootstrap. So in version 9, we've got a new theme library called Bedrock, which you can include in your themes, and it just makes it much more likely that your theme is going to look great out of the box without having to do too much work. And as we introduce more modular pieces that kind of hook into that, if those pieces are built with Bedrock, they'll all kind of interoperate nicely. That Bootstrap 4 is the sort of foundational piece of that, and we want to make sure that the foundational piece is solid and tested. So I think right now we'll keep monitoring Bootstrap 5. If it does release between now and when we're doing version 9.0 and it appears stable, like I think we are absolutely committed to doing the work to keep it up to date, and we do want to support it one day. And if it drops next week and is solid and doesn't require a tremendous rethink, we will commit to doing that work, but we want to make sure that it's done for the right reasons and at the right time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
I got a bunch of questions that I'm pulling in from all sorts of sources. How hard is it to upgrade from version 8.5 to version 9?
Technically, it's actually it has a lot of similarity. It's much easier than even some of the point releases we've done for version 8. There was a version 8 release that in order to help think about this always, in order to support multi-byte, extended byte characters like emojis, we changed a bunch of character sets for MySQL tables, and for most places that was fine. But making those migrations on database tables even now it runs into roadblocks that even going from version 8.5 to version 9 does not. So we're adding a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, but going from version 8 to version 9, technically in the back end, is pretty simple. There aren't huge stylistic changes like going from version 6 to version 7. There aren't some massive changes like going from 5.7 to 8 in terms of kind of the underlying data structure. Like going from 5.7 to version 8 was kind of difficult because we redid the way attributes worked, and attributes are such a foundational piece of Concrete. It was challenging. Going to version 9, we're really just adding new functionality and fixing bugs. So things look a lot different, things function a lot better from a front end perspective, like the file manager, things like that. But behind the scenes, it's pretty simple. The one place where that may or may not, where we haven't done exhaustive testing yet, is the theming updates. So I mentioned Bedrock. Nothing about the way themes work in version 9 is going to require you to use Bedrock. So it's not like you have to rewrite all your themes. But as with whenever there's any kind of update to Bootstrap, it's always a possibility that older themes may not work perfectly out of the box. There's nothing architectural about that definitely breaking themes. It's just a possibility, as with anything else. And then additionally, I guess I would say, yeah, it's possible that some of the PHP updates, as we support newer versions of PHP, version 8 or version 9, I believe, is going to require 7.3 at this point. PHP 7.3. All of our sites are already running 7.4. 7.3, as PHP's endless release cycle dictates, is already probably long in the tooth. But yeah, so that's probably where most people are going to run into trouble, is just as they try and update their sites, they'll realize that their sites need to be, the underlying technology needs to be updated to take advantage of it. But in many ways, I think it'll be a smoother upgrade than going from even 8.2 to 8.5.
Fantastic. Yeah. So pretty smooth. You might have to upgrade your server, and there's always going to be stuff that like could work better, but we're doing our darndest to make sure that you can upgrade and it'll still behave enough.
Yeah.
I am being informed and have verified that Bootstrap 5 was released on El Cinco de Mayo 5.5.
Look at those jokers.
Those guys. So we'll have to take a hard look at where they got after all their many alphas and betas and get that moving.
Nice.
Let's
cool.
see. This is a longer one. You ready, Andy?
I am.
With layouts and containers, we have a growing use of sub areas. Can we have a method for any area-like class that lists all of the blocks in the area and sub areas, such as containers and layouts, in the order they would be rendered? Also, the opposite way around, from a block controller class, a method returns a list of all area-like wrappers going up.
We could. Yeah, that's tricky. I can definitely see why you'd want to do that. Because because you need to, when I know this has come up recently, actually, not so much the second one, but the first one, the former, because this is pretty deep in the weeds, but when you do a search in Concrete and we try and render that little snippet of text that shows the content in your little search results, it was brought to my attention from two people independently, actually, that we don't really track the order. When blocks get indexed, we don't index them in any kind of order. We just kind of the entirety of the content gets dumped into the search index, which means if you have a page that you're crafting with a bunch of nested blocks and areas, it might read fine on the page, but those blocks go into the search index in whatever order they come out of the database. And they might, so then when you see the little snippet of text in the results, it might just be a bunch of gibberish. I mean, granted, this is not the most major problem to solve, but it is interesting that we can't really, if you want to retrieve the content on a page programmatically in a order that's guaranteed to make sense, we don't really have a way to do that takes into account all of these kind of sub areas and things like that. I suspect that we will want to implement that as part of some kind of ongoing REST API effort, especially with the page, because we want to be able to get content out of a page record through our API, and we need that to support not just the blocks on the page, but the orders that they come in. So that's probably the use case that's going to get the most traction on that type of an issue, because I can't really see the utility of an API to get this data in the proper order, apart from actually wanting to pull it out of an API to make it useful for third-party applications. So it's definitely possible. We don't have any plans to do that yet, but I think in the context of us buffing out our REST API for pages, that's the place where it's most likely to happen.
Awesome. I have a question about the documentation site. Asking, are we going to add some like a my edits interface so people can see what the approval process looks like for changes that they've submitted to documentation? I would say there's a bunch of suggestions that have been made to improving the documentation site. There's a thread in the forums kind of talking about the new marketing strategy, and it went strangely focused on documentation. So there's a lot of content there. And Evan's team has been looking at that and pulling that out and making kind of granular ideas that are actionable out of that. All of those ideas are worth doing in the big picture. None of them are blockers for us relaunching the new marketing stuff and the new hosting platform and getting version 9 supported and out there. So sure, but it is lower on our priority list than getting multi-site licenses working in the marketplace and getting the new stuff that we've been working so hard on this year live, so we can start getting version 9 out into people's hands in a official stable way.
Well,
so.
And just to add to that, I'm not we do have this page that I'm not sure, perhaps this is not what you're looking for, but we do have let's try and find it.
How are you going to give it to me? Do you want me to share
something? I'm trying to. All right, hold on.
You stick it in Slack, and I'll put it up here.
All right.
You print it out.
Well, you have to be logged in, so I'm sharing that screen. We'll give it a try.
Just fax it to me.
Yeah. Hold on. Can you see this?
Let me add it to the stream. Boom.
So this is your contributions on this is the current documentation site, not the
goodness,
the new one, but this functionality should be
John, I think this is what you're asking for.
So this is accessible via this. It's only your contributions. It's not like a running stream of new stuff, if that was sort of what the question was meant to address. The idea being you can continue to edit the things that you've done. And if there's, it's also possible that maybe this isn't working for non-admin users. So, if you can't seem to get this, but it looks like something that you want, or it's what fits the bill, just let us know and we'll take a look at it further. But I think, this is what that was always meant to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a yes to me. And this, I'm not speaking out of turn if I say that the code base for the documentation wiki thing that we use is in its own GitHub repo, right?
Yes, it is. It is in its own. There's two now because we're pulling in a completely different theme for the updated site, so it's a little bit of flux right now. But there's a documentation.concrete5.org public repo, which is for this site, and then there's also the one for the documentation.concretecms.com. Yeah, let's stop that old share. The peek behind the curtain there.
Inception. So yes, I guess is the short and long. That actually already exists. If it's not working, it could be made to work. I bet you it is working. And if it's not, hey, it's open source, so help us out. Somebody asked, can we have that video? John's saying, where do you find that, your contributions? I think it's in the main nav.
Yeah, it's in that little sub nav that's right underneath the main nav, that tiny little bar that you might not see.
Let's see. Justiel's asking, hey, can we have that video that you just showed? And the answer is yes. I posted it in the chat. If you just go to the concrete5 YouTube channel, I think you'll find it. Did you make it unlisted, or is it?
No, it's listed, so just like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, smash that button, slap it, all that.
I posted it there with zero fanfare whatsoever, but I want to make a couple. There's a few other strong contenders for kind of version 9 sneak peeks that may even be shorter and more digestible than the container one. So those will be coming to that YouTube channel in the coming weeks.
Nice. What else? When production version 9, or is it very risky to use version 9 at the current state? No, it's not.
I see. Yeah, I think he's asking, when is the production version coming, or is it already fine to use it in its current state? Which it's coming, and it depends on how invested you are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what can I tell you? I can tell you that we are using it in production on sites. So, and on very important sites to us. So, in terms of security and stability and performance, it is absolutely safe to use, probably the safest thing to use because that's what we wake up and worry about. The big blocker for us releasing it for months at this point has been we don't have multi-site license model in the marketplace, and we're not comfortable launching a version of our software that lets you run multiple sites easily in the core when our licenses have this, are kind of based on a single site. So we've got good thinking around, hey, there's different ways that you should have different price points and license types, and we just need to get that out there. And so that has become this huge chicken and the egg challenge of, hey, we want to rebuild this, and well, there's a problem here. Let's rebuild that, and it has ballooned into a rather long to-do list of stuff. So part of that is great. We're getting new branding and new community, new forums, new this, new that, new everything. But it is also very frustrating because it's like, well, I just want to drive this car, and we just keep adding luggage racks and trailers and I don't know, I'm stretching this metaphor, but we keep putting more stuff on this project. So the short answer is you should absolutely be playing with version 9 if you've got a project that is going to be launching a little bit. If you're months out and you're building a multi-site thing with it, like sure, because I guess the simple way to look at it is anything that we change in version 9 at this point, if we are going to say, oh, okay, now it's Bootstrap 5, we are ourselves on the hook for figuring out how to upgrade whatever you want to call now version 9.0.Andy is going to somehow have to migrate from Bootstrap 4 to Bootstrap 5. So you'll be on that journey with us. Will it be just one click and everything is, kind of the Bluehost DIY self-service friendly? Probably not. But if you're a developer and you know what you're doing, I would be looking at version 9 if I were you. I mean, I'll tell you, using the file manager in version 9 versus version 8 is just like the promised land. So it's not the answer I would like to give you. I'd like to say, hey, it's official and it's out and you should use it, and there you go. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think you're right. That there are some fairly major outstanding development efforts beyond potential Bootstrap 4, Bootstrap 5, will we or won't we type of efforts that we're actively kind of working on that will have to get merged back in, which are going to be significant. But like Franz said, and this is probably the most important part, is you will be on that journey with us. So there's already production sites running version 9, meaning that we were committed to keeping them updated, obviously. So what that means is that any new code that comes in is going to have to be upgradable using the same sort of built-in upgrade routines that everyone gets access to. So we're not going to just be like, we're not just going to be able to say, oh, you have to abandon that and go back to version 8.5 and do this upgrade instead. It's like, nope, we're all on that journey together. So like Franz said, if you're starting a project that has a longer timeline, I would definitely consider making your life better by starting with version 9 right now.
Yep. Wayne Stewart asks how can we get involved in testing the new sites? I just posted to the chat a link. If you go to our blog, you will find help test new community site blog post that you can fill out this form, you get on the list, and we are kind of week by week adding more people to the pile as it gets tighter, that the testing tranches get bigger, just because we've got Evan manning Trello and we don't need 400 cards on the same issue. So if you're not on that list, you should get on that list. Looking at the form, there's no way I might add a field to this. If you are interested in testing the hosting side, we are particularly interested in talking to you. If you've got hosting business that you're considering sending our way, we want to be building this to your needs. So make sure that you're on that and make sure that you express interest in that, and that will impact what I ask you to test. All right. Do we have anything else to answer here? Because I'm in my final minutes of
It looks like there's one last question. Could we maybe have invite-only access to a pre-release build of version 9? I know I can build it from GitHub, but it might be easier to get a build from you guys that is relatively stable for testing of add-ons. That's totally reasonable, especially for marketplace devs, because you guys will definitely want to test add-ons. There are some framework changes as we're updating, as we're doing updates to things like the underlying libraries, like the Symfony components or the Laravel components. That has a potential to impact some of the more complicated add-ons out there. I am committed to doing a public beta of version 9 that will be posted to the download page, just like any other public beta has in the past. I don't think we're quite there yet because we want to make sure that it really is a beta with, perhaps bug fixes and maybe some little tweaks here and there, but really feature complete. And without the marketplace licenses, I don't think we can, and the marketplace integration, I just don't think we can call it feature complete.
Yeah.
And there are also a handful of other huge things that have active development out there, like the theme customizer, but they have not been merged in yet. So we've got a couple things to pull back into the core first, but we are going to do a public beta this summer or sooner. Probably not sooner because it's almost summer.
Yeah.
This summer that will include all the different marketplace integration and be feature complete and with no other major library updates. So that probably would include Bootstrap 5 as well. So we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close.
Cool. All right, last one I see in this document is John is pointing out that your contributions in documentation only lists new pages submitted. It does not currently list edits/updates submitted.
Yeah, we don't really track it that way. So it's just a list of your contributions. It's not a list of, it's not like a list of versions or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was something, if you think that is keeping people from improving the docs as they go through, I'd say, hey, the code base for this thing is in GitHub, and I don't disagree with you. But in the world of must, shoulds, coulds, and won'ts, that is a could to me. I got to get version 9 out. Those are musts. So that is where our focus is. Okay, I think that we have answered everyone's questions. This one turned out to be pretty good. A little freestyle without VJ Santo behind us, but I feel like we did okay. There's this weird leafy pattern in the background that I didn't even notice till now. Huh. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see if I can figure out which one of these videos is the one that does the cute little...
Buddy.
Nope. I'm going to play the goodbye thing, and it's going to be cool. Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Sweet. Goodbye, everybody.